There is no such provision in the constitution. If somebody resigns, and that does not make it an obligatory for the government to hold the elections.
So you'll call by-elections for, and if the PML like-minded joins them, you're talking about 100 seats.
And secondly, holding the election is not the business of the government. It's the business of the election commission, and they have to decide it. And it's an
what's the legal position if 100 plus members resign?
So there is no such provision if 100 people resign.
No provision.
The only thing is that if a majority resigns, then things would be a different. That would amount that there is no confidence against a particular prime minister. Okay.
That's another thing. If the chief minister decides to dissolve the Punjab Assembly, for example, if Mr. Shahbaz Sharif decides that the government of wind up the Punjab Assembly, what impact would that have legally and constitutionally?
Well, under Article 112, he has to, it's discretion with the chief minister, and he has to give the advice to the governor, and if the governor does not act on, this is the plain wording of the constitution, and within 48 hours it will be deemed to be dissolved, one thing. So the position is this, then there would be the election commission to get into the operation, There is a provision in the constitution, if there are less than 90 days and the completion of the tenure, then there won't be an election. And if it is more than that, then it is obligatory to hold a by-election.
Okay.
This is the
so now we are saying that there are constitutional ways that the PML-N could make life very difficult for you. And so obviously that brings me, General Qadir, to you. Yes. What options are you exploring? Because these are options that I've read about in the papers and heard about from different political leaders.
Quatrina, there are very much, so many things are constitutional basically in their nature. We would like to put pressure on the government through the public pressure. We want to bring the public pressure to have the proper effect over them. The public can compel them, and
do you think that would make a difference? Seriously?
Well, it should be making it's making difference all over the world. It has been made difference there.
So you're looking for an Arab Spring in Pakistan?
In Pakistan also. PNA movement. What did it do? PNA movement was launched, and the government had to perforce. Unfortunately,
but it invented in martial law in 1977.
That was very unfortunate. But finally, on the final day, they had all the political parties had actually agreed for a re-election to be held. That was unfortunately that was sabotaged. It was robbed away by the military junta, and they came in and enforced martial law. So we would like to adopt every constitutional way to put pressure on this government, and so that they go for early polls. And I mean, they are very right that they have the majority at this moment. But how did they get this majority? Imagine that party which they used to be calling Qatil, that party whose leader today, who is one of the senior ministers with them, about him, their party's, the Shaheed, their Qaid of their party, Benazir Bhutto had written that if she was murdered,
he should be nominated.
I mean, I don't know to talk about it. But before her death, she had not cleared this gentleman from that accusation that she had put on them. No court has also cleared this gentleman from that accusation that she had actually put on him. But unfortunately, the People's Party, for the sake of their, saving this this government, they even have gone for an alliance with that party also. And about 4 days back, if you had come to the National Assembly and if you had heard these speeches of MQM, the way they were starting out this government and they were abusing around and they were criticizing around, one thought that probably there could be never, a coincidence, which could bring them together closer. And finally they agree with them also. I mean, there are so many compromises which they have made. Well, that's their choice. I mean, one can't be too critical of them. It is their choice. But public, I don't think approves that sort of things to be, and that too just for saving their chairs, for saving their government.
Okay.
Not for the.
Why don't I take a break first, and then you have adequate time to respond. So we're going to take a short break. When we return, Senator Nayyar Bokhari will respond to the statements made by General Qadir Baloch, and also hopefully, Senator, you will answer the question: what do the people of Pakistan expect from the Pakistan People's Party? This and more after a short break. Please stay with us. And welcome back to Witness. Before the break, I said Senator Nayyar Bokhari will respond to General Qadir Baloch before we go to Lahore to talk to Humayun Sahab. Senator Nayyar Bokhari, General Qadir Baloch made some points which we want to respond to.
There shouldn't be double standards, At the one time, you want that a political process should continue. And at the same time, you want to go for early elections.
What's wrong with early elections? They're part of democracy.
Let me. It's very unfortunate in Pakistan that no political party was given a chance to complete its term, let's go for, something which should be taken as a precedent in the future also, that the political parties do have a capacity to run the affairs and to look for the democratic institutions also. As far as General has said, they want to go to the streets, that's their option, and we believe in freedom of expression, and we believe in freedom of association also. But one thing which General Saab has said, that is how could we be sitting together with PMLQ and all that. Well, in politics things do occur like this, and one thing I tell you, the People's Party never promoted the turncoats. PML-N is in minority in the province of Punjab, right now, and we supported them for a long time. We never wanted to destabilize them in Punjab.
We know that, but this is a question that is raised about, you have politics of reconciliation and you have politics of expediency. And when you go into a coalition with a party that your own party chief referred to as a Qatil League, then how are we supposed to see that? How can we see that as reconciliation and not expediency?
Exactly. It was in the larger interest of the democracy and democratic institutions, When we went for one thing I tell you, when we went for the reconciliation, but in fact we did not promote those people who were elected on a ticket of one party and then joining without the consent of their leadership and joining the other parties.
That debate,
same thing is being...
I don't want to go into it because we've had the debate so many times about the PMLQ and the PML-N and whatever and the unification bloc. The more critical question right now, you said your party should be allowed to complete its 5 years. From the Pakistan, the point of view of the people of Pakistan, my question to you is why?
For the simple reason is this, they voted us to the parliament at that
Did they vote you to just stay there for 5 years or to deliver? So my question to you again remains,
what
do you think the people of Pakistan want from you?
We have delivered, we have delivered, and the only thing is, let's take it, apart from the 18th amendment and 19th amendment, the basic thing, there was a lot of controversy between the bigger provinces and the smaller provinces. The basic issue of NFC award, that was resolved by our government, And that was for the satisfaction of the smaller provinces also. And the federal government has to decrease their share in the federal pool.
How has it benefited the people?
It has benefited to the people. We wanted that the people of the provinces, they should feel strengthened by getting more finances.
Do you feel the people of Pakistan are satisfied with your government?
Well, this will be decided in the next general election.
I'll ask you what you think.
I think we have delivered it, and the only test is the coming elections, It doesn't amount that while you sitting as an anchor person or somebody else sitting, if his or her opinion is against us, this doesn't mean that it is the opinion of all of the people of Pakistan.
Okay, let's go on over to Humayun Saab. Humayun Saab, the critical question of course now remains is that the People's Party feels that it should complete its 5 years in office. The people of Pakistan are unhappy about the crises, and that seems to not be going anywhere. What options does the opposition have at this time?
As I said, Quatrina, the best the opposition can do is to topple the Prime Minister and bring their own man or a member and call for a new election. But that election will only be for the National Assembly. Let's say the opposition which is in power in Punjab, so the best they can do is to call an early election in the centre and in Punjab. The best the People's Party can do with respect to an early election, let's say if they want to have an early election, and I don't know why they would, but after the Senate election, they can call an early election. they can call an early election in the centre and in the 3 smaller provinces. So that is why I made the statement, Quatrina, that an early election in this country, and I don't see why Mr. Zardari would want an election with Punjab being in the hands of the Sharifs. So an early election, that was my statement, can only take place if the PML-N and the People's Party decide together to hold an early election. And that may happen, let's say, No, let me say. Once the Senate election is
being
over.
Worked out here that I don't know about.
No, I am now, no, don't put words in my mouth. I'm not telling you that. What I'm saying is, after this, after the Senate election, Quatrina, perhaps once the People Party has gained what they wanted to in the Senate through the current composition of the assemblies, sometime later in 2012, they might agree to hold an early election. I don't know, but my point is that the only way an early election can take place if the PML-N and the People Party both agree to have an early election. Otherwise, constitutionally they will not take place. The current situation
right now, where the PML-N is announcing publicly that they're going to be holding street protests, they're going to take the demand for early elections to the streets. Where do you see the real battleground, Sindh or Punjab? The backdrop, of course, being what Zulfikar Mirza Saab has been saying in Sindh, and the MPAs, they're going to meet Peer Pagada, and all the confusions that have been arising. So where do you see the real battleground in coming weeks, Punjab or Sindh?
Well, I think the real, actually I don't really see a battleground. Now, if we have another crisis like the energy crisis, or there are food shortages and there are riots, and the opposition tries to make use of that, the opposition will have to tread a very fine line, Quatrina, because if what happens, and which is helped by opposition parties, turns into chaos, then you know what happens when there is chaos in the country. Then no political party will be a beneficiary of that. So we have to tread a very fine line in putting enough pressure on the government to hold an early election, and in taking the country towards chaos. We have to be very careful.
Very good point. General Qadir Baloch, I think Humayun Saab is the first politician who has really acknowledged and articulated the dangers of what the PML-N is proposing as well.
I also say very good point, no doubts about it. And this is what exactly me and Nawaz Sharif has been saying. If this government even today decides to mend their ways and to look into the problems of the public, which public is facing, and redress those problems which are at this moment being faced by the public, we are not very keen that we should press them out of power. No. We are a democratic party, and this is what we have been actually lending our support to them all through, giving them enough time. We even accepted the blame of friendly opposition and so many other things which we talked about us. Even till today also we are being blamed that it's because of us that they have been surviving for this long. But if they don't do anything, if the public comes out, then probably it's not going to be the Sierra Nawaz Sharif or PML-N or People's Party. Public might force both the parties and to work for new elections. And public, how long can it tolerate it? You know, let's take the case of this load shedding. My friend Shah Saab said that, you know, they are attending to the problems of the people. They announced in 2008 that at the end of the year there will be no load shedding. And at that point of time, in that year, the load shedding was to the extent of about 2,000 to 3,000 megawatts. In 2009, it gets added to 4,000. 2010, it becomes 5,000. And 2011, it has gone up to 7,000. So what is that thing which they have been doing so as to address the problems of the people? Right? What's happening on the law and order front? What's happening? Today in Balochistan, more than 60% of the area, you can't fly the flag of Pakistan. And people are not, even the children are not allowed, you know, to sing the song of Pakistan, the national anthem of Pakistan, right? The Prime Minister of Pakistan went day before to Quetta and took Quetta, and he was flown from the airport for a distance of just about 8 kilometers to the governor's house. He could not travel on the road. There was a fear, most probably because of the security reasons. The entire, the FC, over about 50,000 people there, the police about 30,000, and navies about 15,000 of them, and 2 army divisions being there. All of them put together probably could not give that feeling of security to the Prime Minister, and that confidence to the provincial government that they could take the Prime Minister on the road to the governor's house.
Exactly, that's a very depressing thing. Let me add one more point to that, a concern that a lot of people are facing. What have you made of the current controversy going on with the banning of the Aman Committee in Sindh, which Dr. Zulfikar Mirza had said that he was going to, uphold it. That has now been banned by the Pakistan People's Party. The Interior Ministry has declared it a proscribed organization. Zulfikar Mirza's resignations have been accepted, and Zulfikar Mirza continues to be a very powerful voice in Sindh.